Eternal blessings, family. Welcome to another episode of Goddess Samja's podcast. This time, we are going to approach the topic of how to become a vegetarian, how to convert from a meat-based lifestyle, a meat-based diet, and take that plunge to a plant-based or vegetable-centered, vegetable and fruit-centered diet. First of all, when you're approaching the issue of your diet and converting, changing over to be more plant-based, one thing you should reflect on is why. Why is this change so important to you? Because food is definitely something that is always near and dear to people's hearts, and you develop patterns around your eating. And to switch from eating meats on a regular basis to eating a vegetarian diet, it's a big change. It is a big change. And one reason that it's important to reflect on why you're doing this is because that is what will strengthen your resolve to stick to the diet. So when you're talking about sticking to a vegetarian diet, the different people have different reasons for converting to a vegetarian or plant-based diet. The first would be health. Health, spirituality, the environment, and just being an animal lover in general. And we'll touch on each of these. So when you talk about health, we all know that, well, maybe we don't all know, but it is a fact that meat, eating red meat, chicken, fish, turkey, lamb, pork, all these different kinds of animal flesh foods do have an overall detrimental impact on your body. There's some things that they do that help you, like give you protein and so forth, but there's so many other more robust and helpful ways of getting protein that you do not need to get it from a meat-centered diet. And with the research, modern day research, we found that eating meat can have a negative impact on things like your cholesterol, having parasites in your body, obesity, just having hormones in your food, animal hormones in your food. So there are lots of different reasons why switching to vegetarianism is positive from a health perspective. From a spiritual perspective, there are many spiritual teacher, many guru, many spiritual leaders promote and advocate for vegetarianism. And it's a part of many different religious practices around the world. Now, in terms of the environment, raising animals, cows, and other animals for flesh foods does have an impact on greenhouse effect, deforestation, soil erosion, and those types of things. And a lot of environmentalists kind of gravitate towards a vegetarian diet as an outgrowth of their interest in protecting the environment. And some people are just animal lovers in general and don't want to eat animals, don't even want to wear animal products with leather and so forth. At this point, I would like to read a little excerpt from my book, Spirituality, Complementary and Alternative Health Practices and Their Promise for Public Health. So there is a plethora of mounting scientific evidence that animal flesh is not the smartest thing to put in your body. Animal flesh, even if cooked, tends to flood the body, digestive tract, etc., with toxins and bacteria, not to mention high levels of unfavorable fats. The end result is putrefaction in the bowels and toxicity in the body. Understandably, this evidence can be hard to process given that millions of people the world over were raised on a meat-friendly or meat-centered diet and do not know anything different. So when you take all of this into account, you are looking at overall, you can check out the China study, which is a study of the impact of removing meat and animal products from your diet, animal products including eggs and dairy. The China study presents a robust body of research that gives you some scientific backing behind why vegetarianism is overall the more suitable diet for the human body. Now, you may ask, well, where do I start? Do I start gradually? Some people have promoted what they call meatless Mondays and then grow from there, adding one day a week every few weeks to gradually shift to a plant-based diet. There's also the option of going immediately cold turkey. No pun intended, of course. But yes, you can. In my case, when I converted to vegetarianism at the age of 14, I did not know a single Black person that was a vegetarian. I was going through some challenges in my life, and I decided to make the decision to connect with God through food. And that was like a sacrifice. The meat, fish, and chicken was my sacrifice to create a more harmonious relationship and a closer relationship with my Creator. And my family, no one in my family was vegetarian. No one, I barely knew any vegetarians at all. But I had done my fair share of research and knew that that was something that I wanted to do deep down inside. So each person has their own path. I went just cutting everything overnight. For one evening, I decided to go vegetarian, and the next day, that was the end of it for life. But not everyone has this resolve that I had at the time. But it is definitely something that you make that decision on whether you want to go gradually, whether you want to go with immediate effect. And neither way is wrong or right. One thing I will recommend overall is going through and listing your favorite dishes to eat. Actually, write this down. List your favorite dishes to eat that are meat-centered dishes. And do a little bit of research online or elsewhere on what you need to do to change this meat-centered dish to a vegetarian dish. There's so many today, so many different options for replacing meat. You have meat substitutes, which a lot of people transitioning to a vegetarian diet kind of lean on, and even some people that have never eaten meat all their life, like my daughter, she tends to enjoy, and children also, that's another consideration. If you're transitioning a child to a meat-centered, to a plant-based diet, they may prefer meat substitutes, but otherwise, you can eat tofu, you can eat beans, lentils, tempeh. There are a lot of different types of soya products and other types of products that are plant-based that you can try out to replace the flesh foods that you may be used to eating. I myself I prefer not to eat a lot of meat substitutes just because they're highly processed, and some of the things you're running away from with meat, you run into with a lot of highly processed plant-based products. But overall, it is better for you in the key indicator areas that we mentioned earlier. Now, we talked about protein and how you can get it from even from nuts, especially raw nuts, ground nuts, peanuts, cashews, pecans, walnuts. I mean, you name it. There's every type of nut that gives you protein. And then another thing, if you're transitioning to not also include eggs and dairy, then you also have to reflect on what your source of vitamin B12 is going to be. And vitamin B12 is a nutrient that you can get from fortified nut milks like soy milk, almond milk, oat milk. You can get them fortified, or you can take a nutritional supplement if you'd care to do that as well, a vitamin B12 nutritional supplement. For those of you who come from cultures like mine where meat is still the center, let's put it that way, meat is still the center of the meal, I found that even ChatGPT, an AI tool, will be able to describe menus for you, converting from your national or cultural origins, and provide you with menus that you can try out for as an option. So that is just like a brief synopsis of what you can do to change over from a meat-based diet to a vegetarian diet or even a vegan diet. And I hope that this has been useful to you. I will that everything I've said will help you on your journey. But one thing I urge you to do is never give up on research, never give up on reading. If it's online, if it's in books, there are many different books on vegetarianism. And just, take your time with the education process, because it's helpful to know more about what you're putting in your body, and because the body is our divine temple, and so we want to take care of it. We want to put in it something that will promote longevity, promote good health, promote vitality, and we want to take care of ourselves. Let's put it that way. So thank you. This time I urge you to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button. Hit the share button to share with your network of friends and family on social media and beyond. And hit that notification bell so whenever I release a new video, you will be the first to know. Thank you so much for joining, and please leave your comments, ideas for future shows, and keep it positive, people. Okay, take care. Peace and blessings.